World AIDS Day being commemorated, as we know, every year on the 1st of December. And according to this year's UNAIDS report, the world is not on track to end the HIV and AIDS pandemic. The report, which is titled Dangerous Inequalities, looks at the impact that various inequalities have had on the fight against the disease. South Africa is also said to be struggling with rising infections and access to treatment. Let's get you more analysis on the story. We're joined by a senior research clinician at Ezintsha Research Centre. That's Dr. Nomathemba Chandiwana, who joins us via our video link this morning. Dr. Chandiwana, it's great to have you with us on the program. Thanks very much for coming on so early. You and I spoke just a few weeks ago, didn't we, about how the COVID-19 pandemic is impacting our fight against HIV and AIDS. On this World AIDS Day, we obviously haven't come very far since the last time we spoke.
Thank you again for having me on the show. And World AIDS Day is time for us to reflect. So in South Africa, we have had tremendous progress. You know, we have come far, from where we were. However, we still have a lot to go. South Africa has got the biggest epidemic, as most of us well know. We have about 8 million of the 38 million people living with HIV here in South Africa. About 6 million of those on treatment. So we've had some successes. I'll highlight these. We've been able to transition a lot of people to a new, more robust treatment called the integrable-based treatment in the last 18 months or so. We've done well with vertical transmission, infections from mothers to children, which were quite high a decade ago, now at about 1%, a little bit more in the post-COVID period. And infections have come down. However, we still have a lot to go.
Yeah.
And in the month of December, yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Chandiwana, I want to ask you about this report by UNAIDS, because it's talking about the impact that various inequalities have on the fight against HIV and AIDS, and that certain inequalities that face key populations, women and children, that those are in the spotlight on World AIDS Day 2022.
I think this World AIDS Day is hitting it right on the spot. Inequality continues to drive HIV, and until we do significantly change it, we will not be able to make that dip. So this means in South Africa, harmful masculinity, gender inequality are the big drivers. Infections are disproportionately high among young women and girls. About 50%, you're 50% more likely to be infected by HIV if you are a victim of violence. So that's one big thing. Other key populations, then you have men, sex workers in their trials. These are transgender people that we are not able to. And these are not people who are going to work in hospitals. You have to go to each of the need services from testing, treatment, and education.
Dr. Chandiwana, and let me just take the opportunity to apologize to our viewers for the quality of the sound connection to our interview. Our audio team is trying to work that out. While they do that, let me ask you this next question, and it's related to what you've just outlined to us insofar as the impact of HIV and AIDS on children and women and the issue of gender-based violence. In a country like South Africa, where HIV and AIDS is the most prevalent around the world, the fact that we have the kinds of levels of GBV that we have in South Africa, that surely, given what you've just said, it surely has a big part to play in how we tackle HIV and AIDS here.
It is so crucial. And if you look at the statistics, every day a woman, child is being murdered, somebody's mother. It's unacceptable. And as a country, we are not putting enough resources to tackle gender-based violence and violence against children. And until we, all the other issues that we might have and our impact based on will be minimal, because this is a key driver.
When we look at the numbers involved here in what you've just outlined to us, almost a quarter of South African women in their reproductive ages, so those are the ages 15 to 49 years, are HIV positive. That number, almost a quarter, is that an improvement on previous years, high as it is?
Well, in some ways it hasn't come down. So incidents have not come down as much as it has come down. But that number is also reflecting how antiretrovirals has been. So people are living longer. So if you're thinking about 10, 15 years ago, women would live about 50. That's almost double about 50. So antiretroviral treatment has been a game changer. People are living longer. However, when it comes to new infections among adolescent girls and women are still very high.
Yeah. The Deputy President, David Mabuza, is he'll be addressing the official World AIDS Day commemoration in Bloemfontein today. We always hope that these addresses are not just a talk shop, right? In your position, what would you want someone in his position to be saying today?
So a couple of things. One, for us to really talk about populations, as I've mentioned, and healthcare finances are important. The national funding, the global fund, and other sources of funding have been there. But has our government come to the party? So all these interventions, as long as they are, we need to get funding for them. And the most important thing is to talk. I think HIV programs talk about it for 20 years, but how does that get at the ground? When someone comes into a clinic, they wait 46 hours, their healthcare provider, there are shortages. We're not putting our communities at the center. So I would like to hear more about that. So not just trying to keep ourselves out of the pandemic, it's the multi-sectoral approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Nomathemba Chandiwana, let me thank you for your time this morning. Great pleasure talking to us on the AM Report. Senior Research Clinician at Ezintsha, talking to us on this World AIDS Day.